Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Friday feature for you guys today. We have the Celtic current XP record, and it is held by none other than Mr. Duckman Pseudo, aka Eric. Make sure you guys go and follow his channel. He is a single father who is happily married. No, I just say that about all my friends. Eric and Drew are actually both friends. And in this division of clowns, you will also notice a third clown, which is me. So this is I wanted to do this video for a few reasons. Number one, this team encapsulates the blue teams for me this week. I feel like it just goes in weeks, right? It goes in waves. I will have multiple weeks of three. I had a 4K Pensacola game the other day, and then I will have weeks of just the worst RNG and teammates. But again, it's like Roger said. It's like golf. You're always playing for that perfect game, and even if you got the perfect game, you'd still play again. So that is what Legends is all about. And honestly, this was just a fun time on stream, divisioned with some friends. So, but this game doesn't count for Eric because he's in a division. No, it's just a running joke we have. So regardless of what we just said, talking about the game here, you will see a triple division of battleships all going behind that island behind C there. We do have a carrier in this game, and I will give a credit to the carrier. And then we have a I actually don't think it was a division, but we do have two destroyers here who decide to immediately leave their spawn and give up A. So right off the bat, our team is at a huge disadvantage. When you leave your spawn, and there are certain maps that you can do this. For example, on Greece here, you could play the right side of B, you could play the left side of B, but you can't just go from B to the outside of A, right? So again, each different map has a certain niche or play style. But regardless of that, if there's one message you take away from this video, number one, don't be dumb. Number two, don't leave your spawn, right? Don't leave your spawn immediately. At least try to play it. Now, sometimes you get those teams, you get those games, and you have to kite your spawn. It's very frustrating. It's very annoying. But unfortunately, it's just what you have to do. And if you don't, then you're probably going to get put in a crossfire. So here, Eric is using the smoke screen that the destroyer laid for whatever reason. And he is utilizing his radar. Now, he actually does catch the USS Black on the end of this radar. Unfortunately, the USS Black got the cap here, but Eric is going to pull out here, angling away from any potential threats in the middle, and try and shoot at that USS Black. Probably not the absolute best use of a radar, but it does give us information, right? He is also running fully packed, and some people, mainly my teammates, are going to ask how, and then we're going to literally look at the screen, but I will have Eric comment on the build. So because our team left the right wide open, Eric is going to try and take that over. On top of that, you will notice our carrier going after the destroyer. So again, a huge shout out to our carrier. Also, you will notice Drew, he spawned in the middle, so he's trying to get that B cap. The cap was contested, and Drew actually does have a fantastic game. And you will also notice me in the middle there. I was trying to hold down the crossfire. I should have went to the A side a little bit sooner, but I actually get stuck trying to crossfire these teammates. I didn't really have a fantastic game. It's on stream if you want to watch it. But I performed my role, and I gave my team a chance. I provided the crossfires for the battleships at sea. They were pushed fairly aggressively. I also sat there and tanked an enormous amount of damage. Usually you can tell when you tank a lot of damage. I wish Wargaming put that in the stat screen, but unfortunately, they don't. But you can tell you tanked a lot of damage usually by either getting a Dreadnought medal or usually having a higher XP total for not having that much damage. I didn't really have that much damage. I think I shot at one or two destroyers. So usually when you get that touch of higher XP, you can tell. But anyway, Eric actually dodged a set of torpedoes here, and he is working his way into this alpha cap. You will notice that there are only 4 battleships in this game, 2 of which are now dead, thanks to our other teammates, although I did have a huge role in crossfiring them. And none of them are on this flank, so Eric is safe to push into this cap here, and what it's going to do, it's going to force this destroyer to make a decision. He can either go all the way around the island, the back of the map here, and try and torp the carrier, or he can try and come back into this cap and contest a cruiser. Either way, it's a bad day for him, and again, a huge shout out to our carrier for doing his freaking job. I feel like Brad Pitt in Fury every time I see somebody just doing something obnoxious, right? Do your job. Now, again, not every game is a cookie cutter, clear decision to make. And you can see me sitting there useless in the John Bart. But again, I was actually being shot from behind. I was angling from those ships. You can kind of tell on the position on the map there. But basically, do your job, right? If you're in a cruiser, go after destroyers. Be a support ship. Now, cruisers in this game, there are certain cruisers that are actually decent, damage hunters, and that is their role. Cruisers are not meant to tank an exuberant amount of damage. Now, I will say the Drake, the ship I hate kind of the most at tier 8. I don't hate it, but it's just not a favorite of mine. The Drake is actually surprisingly good at tanking damage. So understanding those roles, right, and to end this little rant here, destroyers are meant to get caps and spot for your team. Now, there are subclasses in between destroyers here, gunboats, torp boats, etc. Cruisers are support ships. They are meant to, assist battleships and destroyers, killing destroyers, killing other cruisers, whatever the team needs. And that is what Eric is doing here. He got the A cap. He is developing a beautiful crossfire on the team here. And you will also notice that every other player, except for the carrier in our division, is dead. They died in 5 minutes. Now, we all have bad games. Eric actually took Torps last night on my stream. We were playing. He's a good guy. He's actually become a great friend of mine. So we all have bad games. And you guys have seen it the Wednesday stream. I got YOLO rushed by a Shima in my Des Moines, and I'm arguably one of the best Des Moines players in the game. It's pretty easy to say, you're a good Des Moines player. But regardless of that, we all have bad games. So I'm not saying that, these players, but on average, at this time of night, I just see people die in 5 minutes. If that is you, try to better your positioning, right? If you are constantly dying in the first 4 minutes, you're probably not winning that many games. You're probably not getting that great of an XP total. And I will say I actually died pretty early in this game. You can see I'm being focused by the remaining ships. I actually take a huge chunk from this Udachi, but Eric finished off that Fletcher there, and he is working his way into B cap there. Drew finished off the USS Black, a Kagero, downing an American gunboat. So that is just an LOL in itself. Kagero taking down an American DD. Eric is focusing this Udachi here, the last remaining enemy destroyer, and as we have said so many times in the past, the longer a destroyer lives, the more dangerous it becomes here. But here you can see me doing my job in a battleship. In some games, guys, in a battleship, all you're going to do is tank damage, and that is kind of what I did. I did the best to mitigate that damage by angling. Now, angling in a John Bart at this reverse angle here is probably not the smartest because your guns are in the front, although I was able to shoot. Here, Eric picks up the Amalfi on his Hydro, aims a beautifully placed shot on the waterline there, gets a few citadels. The Amalfi blew his load a little bit too early. We know nothing about that as we as we die early as well. And there goes that Amalfi. So 3 kills, only 30k damage, but 2 of those have been destroyers. And Eric is now contesting this B cap. So now it is down to a Kagero, a Baltimore, basically, a British Baltimore, and the carrier. So it's a 3-on-3. And this is why I truly love division play. Now, again, hopping in a division with a carrier all the time, you're not going to better your skills. But games like this, if I was solo or you were if anybody in this game was solo, I don't care how loud they want to scream on their videos or how clickbaity they want to make their videos or how much better they claim to be. If anybody in this game was solo on this team, they probably would have lost, right? I think a lot of people tend to forget this is a team game. As I mentioned earlier, nobody is loading up this game ever in a solo lobby and going 1v9. However, much you want to shout it or scream it, there are still 8 other players or however the matchmaker balances you. There is never an imbalance of team. Now, in most games, you're going to have 3 or 4 absolutely useless players, and you're going to have to pull your weight. But that being said, it is still a team game. So that's why I just don't like that argument. But enough about that. Here, Eric actually makes a fairly smart decision. He is turning away from these battleships, angling. Now, an Amagi AP could probably shred most of him, but if Eric did get a stroke of luck, he played this match wonderfully, but the one stroke of luck he does get is this Amagi running a secondary HE build. You can see the secondaries start to go off there. As the Pobeda misses torpedoes. The Russian carriers, have very slow torpedoes, and, he sent those a little bit early, but Eric masterfully dodges while getting the cap. That is an important piece of the story. So here we have this Amagi trying to meme and have fun. And guys, I don't, you guys know me, I'll try to, do those kind of meme-worthy builds of secondaries and different things like that every now and then, but if we're being honest, secondary builds on anything other than maybe the German battle cruisers like the Zeton here are a complete waste of time. Again, that being said, you can have fun with them, but in most cases, unless the enemy team is full of potatoes, you're probably just going to die um, while having a nice firework display. I hope I'm not coming across as too elitist here. I'm just trying to demonstrate and show you guys a little bit of strategy. Here, though, Eric, because of his position, has put himself in a beautiful spot to get this Pobeda, and there's not much this Pobeda can do. On top of that, he is utilizing this island cover here, while Drew is throwing torpedoes from the opposite angle, and Sean is torping or bombing the battleship in the middle there. So he switches to the HE as he is dodging the torpedoes. Like we mentioned, those Russian torpedoes are very difficult to use, honestly, because of how slow they are, as he gets a beautiful shot on that Pobeda, racking up the damage. You will notice that Eric does not have that much damage, and based on the clickbait or the thumbnail, really, you're going to be wondering, well, how did he do so much? He got 2 caps. He did a decent amount of damage. He has 33 planes now, and he has shot multiple destroyers and multiple targets. So on top of that, he defended the cap a few times. So if you really want to do better, and I like games like this because it shows what a true test of skill is. A true test of skill, while Krakens and other games are nice, I think XP is the #1 indicator. You can yoink a kill. You can get a high caliber by farming damage and being useless to your team. But the XP marker, in my opinion, is the best example of a good player. It is the one thing that you can't really cheat to a certain extent. Yes, you can get a cap or something at the end of the game. You will see me, say, "Well, I'm gonna cheese a little XP." Yes, but you cannot fake being, a good player with XP, right? Now, some games we get surprised by the XP total, both on both ends of the spectrum, right? Sometimes you're like, "Hey, how did I score so high?" And then other times you're like, "Wow, I deserve more." And it's usually on capture the base. So Wargaming. Let's get rid of capture the base. Here we have the final moments that this Amangi is alive. He is getting his beautiful firework display off on Eric. But good news for Eric is he has half of his health because he managed it beautifully. I see some people when I play. Some people have said that I play passively, and that is on purpose. At the beginning of games, as Eric did and as a lot of other great players do, Chili is very good at this. And the reason I do this, and Chili and a few others do this, is because of situations like this. Now, again, this Amangi is shooting HE and having his firework display of secondaries go off, and Eric is just paying him no attention as he pops that high caliber. But the reason you do this is because you can play with situations like that. Towards the end of the game, your health is your fun points, and Eric is having fun right now. He's got his secondaries going off, and unfortunately, the carrier took that 5th kill. That would have been Eric's Kraken, but it doesn't matter. He gets the Dreadnought, the high caliber, the clear skies, and the XP record for the Celtic. So what an absolute carry. I'm glad you were on my team, brother. It's fun divisioning with you. So not that much from me, but a 2,200 score, which is decent. Anything above 2K on a win is a decent score, but I did my role. Drew had a 25 or 2460 there, and Sean in the carrier. Carriers don't get awarded as much XP, so that is a great score. Then it kind of drops off. Those battleships did do a little bit. The destroyers probably not so much, but a GG's all around. Sorry for being a little off topic this video. It probably sounded like an elitist rant, but I want to preach to you guys things that I see from my perspective, which is, XP and just playing the game and reading situations, right? I've been getting frustrated on stream recently, so trying to do that less and less, but it still gets to me sometimes. But a huge carry from Eric. I appreciate it. He's a good friend. Make sure you guys check out his channel. Sorry for like I said, the weird kind of video today. I'm just feeling it's late. This video is probably going to drop late. But anyway, you guys have a fantastic Friday, an excellent weekend. I will see you guys on stream tonight for hopefully some more pain. But love you guys. Great game, Eric and Drew, even though you guys are two big clowns. Love you guys. AA run out. Peace.